Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this important Veterans Day. On behalf of the town of Rocky Hill, we appreciate it. I just want to announce a few people who helped make this day actually become a reality. LSP Audio Visual, who's our sponsor for today, and also our dedicated sound producer, always here Memorial Day and Veterans Day. We appreciate that, LSP. Michael O'Toole and Rocky Hill Community TV, videotaping. Walt Sykes and the entire Parks Department for a great job, as always, with organizing this event. You can applaud to that. Thank you. We'll begin with the Star Spangled Banner performed by Joy O'Sullivan.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we won were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Awesome. Thank you, Joy. Now for our invocation and moment of silence, Pastor Ron Cox.
There he is. I would ask you to keep your eyes open as I believe that the Spirit of God is present within us, within this space, and certainly within the confines of this special space. I'm going to first read a poem that was written specifically for today by Abby Forcer, fourth grader from the Mosier School. She penned these words. In fields of valor they stood tall, with courage that would never fall. Through battles fierce and night so long, their hearts stayed forever strong. They fought for freedom, fought for rights. Some sacrificed their very lives. For every flag that you can see, a veteran allowed it to fly free. We honor them this special day for all they've done in every way, their bravery and will to fight in darkest times. They brought us light. So let us thank them one and all for answering the noble call. With courage strong and hearts so true, give us pride in the red, white, and blue. Let us have a moment of silence. For those who have served and are still with us today, we give you thanks. As we gather, open our hearts and minds to reflect upon the gifts they have left us. Freedom. Freedom to vote. Freedom to assemble. Freedom to espouse our opinions. Freedoms to choose where we live. Freedom to worship or not to. And ultimately, the greatest gift of all, the power of self-determination. I offer this prayer to the God of beginnings, middles, and end. Om Shanti, Amen, Amen. So be it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Ron. Now our guest speakers, we have Lisa Murata, Mayor of the town of Rocky Hill.
Good morning, everyone. What an absolutely incredible day for us to gather here today. It's just splendid, and I thank all of you. Good morning, veterans, Deputy Commissioner Dineo, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Participating in today's ceremony is an absolute honor and a privilege. The fact that we are gathered here today is because all of you, the brave men and women who made it their mission and continue to make it their ambition to protect this great country in the field, in the desert, in the sky, and in the seas. As the daughter of an amazing dad who served in the Army, each Veterans Day I am flooded with myriad of emotions. most of all, pride and gratitude for the gift of raising my children in the greatest nation in the world. I am proud and grateful for all of you who put their lives on hold, who sacrificed time away from your families, from your friends, from your careers, and from joy, so that we wake up every day to a life of freedom and we go to bed every night secure in our liberties. I am proud and grateful for each and every one of you and your selfless acts. I am proud and grateful for all the families who carried on in your absence. Above all, I am very proud to be an American and incredibly grateful for that blessing that you bestowed upon us. Thank you. Thank you for all that you have done for our country and all that you continue to do today. As you know, Rocky Hill is home of the DVA, and Deputy Commissioner, as Mayor of Rocky Hill, I want you to know how much we cherish the department's presence, those veterans who reside on campus, and those within our greater community. And we look forward to 2025 as a new year of opportunity and a collaboration to reinforce our commitment to providing an inclusive, responsive community with programming and resources for all veterans. Thank you, everyone, for sharing in this incredible celebration. And to all of the veterans here today and around the world, may God bless you on this day, your very special day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Murata. And now we have Kerry Wood, our state representative.
Good morning. Thank you, Rocky Hill, for always stepping up on this day to celebrate. And thank those who put their lives on hold to serve the people of the United States, the people of Rocky Hill, both selfishly and willingly. Veterans Day started in 1918 at the end of World War I. While that may seem like a war of a distant past, we all have relatives who served. Before that history is lost in your family, talk to your aunts and uncles, cousins, parents and grandparents, and learn about your relatives that fought in the First World War. There's almost 5 million of them. Share those memories before they are lost and pass them on to the next generation. Their serving started our tradition of Veterans Day, which we carry on each year. One of the things that I love about Rocky Hill is our willingness to step up for the things that matter. Fortunately, our Veterans Affairs campus provides housing and medical care and celebrates veterans and their families year-round. We have a vet center, the Connecticut Veterans Legal Center, the Disabled American Veterans of Connecticut, the VFW, the Elks Lodge, and moms that have stepped up to create a not-for-profit called Touch of Home Foundation. They send cards, gift packages, and more to active military annually. A big shout out to Leona Adamczyk and Nikki Holt for this incredible service. Rocky Hill, while today we celebrate our veterans, those lost, those serving, and those that formerly served, I see a drive to make every day special for our veterans in this town. Thank you, veterans, and thank you to this community for investing in what matters. God bless.
Thank you to our state rep, Kerry Wood. Now we have our state senator, Matt Lesser.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you to Rocky Hill, and thank you, as other speakers have mentioned, to all our veteran service organizations, to everyone who has stood up and served our country in time of hardship. You know, today is the 106th Veterans Day. It was originally Armistice Day, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, ending World War I. And in every Veterans Day since the beginning, it's been an opportunity to say thank you, thank you, thank you. This year, Connecticut is doing one more thing to say thank you. The legislature passed a tax exemption for veterans who are disabled with permanent and total disability, saying that they will no longer have to pay a property tax on their home, or if they don't own a home, on their motor vehicle. As a one additional way of saying thank you for the service and sacrifice of those who've served all of us. Rocky Hill is a special place. It's got a particularly strong veterans community, and as others have mentioned, also is the host community of our State Department of Veterans Affairs. We are very lucky to be the beating heart of Connecticut's veterans community, and we have to do everything we can to support all of you, to make sure that not just word but in action, we're providing the support that you need to be successful and honored and loved in our community. I will also say that this is a particularly important week for our country because it marks the end, the culmination of a hard contested national election. And I think it is so important to sort of reminisce and think about all of the great accomplishments of our veterans, right, who have built a country where we settle our differences at the in the ballot box and not on the battlefield. We are a country of laws, of peaceful transition of power, where we are able to live differently with different religions and different points of view and different backgrounds, but we all work together and make our republic, our democracy work. And that is a accomplishment that our veterans have paid for and earned, and for that we say thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Lesser. Now we have Joe Dineo, Deputy Commissioner of Connecticut Veterans Affairs.
All right. Great. Good morning, Rocky Hill. Mayor Murata, Senator Lesser, Representative Wood, thank you for your wonderful remarks, acknowledgement of your Department of Veteran Affairs that is housed here in Rocky Hill. Mayor Murata, also thank you because I think you're responsible for the sunshine. I am wearing my first uniform I received upon commissioning, and it is all wool. So it was soaked on Memorial Day, and I think due to the dry weather, it only really dried out a week ago. So it's a little tight, and probably the bravest souls, in addition to our veterans here today, is anybody that gets in front of my engineer buttons. But we'll make it work. So thank you, veterans, for your service. Thank you on behalf of Governor Lamont, Lieutenant Governor Bysewicz, who I corresponded with this morning and said that I would directly pass on her thanks for your service, and Commissioner Ron Welch, the staff at the Department of Veteran Affairs. Thank you for your service. It is time for an inventory because right now, from my vantage point, you kind of are all blending in. Like my wife, my son, and myself, who is an Army veteran. Please raise your hand. All right. Big applause for our Army veterans. Thank you for your service. United States Navy, like my son-in-law in Yokosuka, Japan, with my daughter right now. Thank you, Navy. All right. And like my beloved devil dogs that have served with me when I spent 33 plus years in the service, our Marine Corps veterans. Hoorah! All right. Thank you. We have any merchant Marines among us? Looking around, not exactly. Okay. How about Space Force? They're coming. They're coming. Not yet. Okay. And, Coast Guard. How about Coast Guard veterans? Looking around. I don't want to miss any Coast Guard veterans. Okay. Who am I? I'm supposed to get a hand. I set this up. There's supposed to be a hand in the back row going up right now. Last but not least, United States Air Force veterans. Let me see your hands. There we are. Great. Thank you all for your service. Our inventory has two more lines that we have to absolutely acknowledge. The next is, if you're a family member of a veteran, please raise your hand. Thank you, family members. And last but not least, and I know this is a resounding acknowledgement here in Rocky Hill, who here supports veterans? That's everybody, right? Come on. Excellent, excellent. Thank you. So we've heard the 11th day, the 11th hour of the 11th month, 1918, Armistice Day, celebrating the end of the Great War. There was not supposed to be another war, but we know that didn't happen. Fast forward to 1954, we have our first Veterans Day, and we've enjoyed that here at Rocky Hill ever since. We do want to salute the service of veterans. There's approximately, according to the federal VA, best statistics, a lot of statistical people looking at those numbers, about 18.2 million veterans right now registered with the federal VA. Of the 18.2, there's about 55% of those that are age, like me, 60 and older. Less so, about 1.1% of 18 million are 24 years old and younger. So if we carry that lens right now into Connecticut, the VA says we have 152,197 registered veterans. I know that number is partly accurate because they claim that a World War II, Korean, and Vietnam veteran in Connecticut is 0. But I'll tell you, we have a 105-year-old veteran up at the Levittow Healthcare Center who is a combat veteran of all 3 wars, and I got to give him a coin the other day and a blanket. But anyways, of the 152,000, 61% of that number in Connecticut, 93,000 veterans are age 60 and older. And our percentage, although higher there than national average, is lower at the 24-year-old to 18-year-old number, under 1%, 0.008 of that number. So that's our veteran population. We are seeing a little bit of a decline in that number, but nonetheless, we have a lot of work to do. We have still a long road to pave and run down on behalf of our veterans across the nation, in Connecticut, and here in Rocky Hill. The Rocky Hill is just so foremost in our hearts across the state. Right now, I think we have School Resource Officer Will Jordan. Might be queued up. No, tonight? Didn't happen? Or yes or no? Tonight. Tonight, Wheel of Fortune, your own Rocky Hill police officer, is going to be he's going to be on a Wheel of Fortune show and benefiting the Rocky Hill Human Services Food Bank. If I got all that right. That's tremendous, and Will Jordan is a veteran of the Coast Guard. So what a tremendous contribution of his experience to be able to utilize it that way, on behalf of you. At the Connecticut Department of Veteran Affairs, our census is growing very rapidly, and I'm proud, in my position a little concerned, that we're almost full. We are very near full. Over 132 veterans in the domicile, and Levittow Healthcare Center, our census this week was 92. So we need to open a wing up to add the remaining 25 beds and keep moving on our census. But our work isn't done there. We have 12 major projects, $38 million going into the facility right now. So as you drive by, may look a little, I'll say sleepy at times when you drive by, but it's transforming across the board. A lot of funding that our legislative and governor provided to us to add beds, as well as maintenance that we need to do. So I can only thank you again for your support up there so that we could return that favor back to our veterans. The last piece that we're working on, and it'll be considered by the City Common Council in Middletown, because this affects all veterans. A lot of our veterans in Rocky Hill choose to be entered into the Middletown State Veterans Cemetery. So tomorrow night at 7 p.m., they'll be taking up a resolution to hopefully approve about a 92-acre parcel of land, and that land at 92 acres will provide us potentially plots for veterans and their significant others and dependents for about 40 to 50 years to come. So my son and everybody that served with him, they can also be placed in the Middletown State Veterans Cemetery if we pull this off. A lot of work, a lot of teamwork to get this done, but who better to do it for than our Connecticut State veterans and their eligible dependents. I'd like to thank you again for your service to our country, and thank all of you in Rocky Hill for providing that unique ecosystem and support that you provide to veterans all over Connecticut, particularly here. Thank you all. Have a happy Veterans Day, and I'll see you next time. Great.
Thank you, Joe Dineo. Next, we have Craig Hall, U.S. Army Specialist.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests and fellow citizens, today as we gather to commemorate Veterans Day, I stand before you, not just as a combat vet, but as a grateful member of a community that owes so much to the brave men and women who have donned the uniform of our armed forces. This day is not only a time to reflect on our service, but also an opportunity to acknowledge the unwavering support of our families, the backbone of our military strength. To my fellow veterans, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you. Each one of us has faced the trials of service in different ways. Some of us have experienced chaos of combat, the weight of responsibility, and the burden of loss. We've shared laughter and tears, forged bonds through blood, and stood shoulder to shoulder in the face of adversity. Our experiences, though varied, unite us as under a shared purpose to protect the freedoms we hold dear. But today, we must also recognize the unsung heroes behind us, our families, to the spouses who have held down the fort during long deployments, to the children who have grown up in the shadows of service, and to the parents who have worried and prayed for our safe return. Thank you. Our services often go unnoticed, yet they're the foundation on which our courage is built. You have faced the uncertainty and fear of our absence with grace and strength that inspire me every day. Veterans Day is a reminder that our journey doesn't end when we return home. Many of us carry invisible wounds, struggles that linger long after we've taken off our uniforms. It's our families who help us navigate this path, standing by us as we seek healing and understanding. They remind us of the love that exists beyond the battlefield, of the laughter that can heal, and of the hope that fuels our future. As we celebrate, I encourage each and every one of you to reach out to a veteran or a military family member today. Share a kind word, a gesture of appreciation, or simply listen to their stories. Our experiences, while sometimes painful, have shaped who we are, and sharing them can foster understanding and connection. In closing, let us remember our services do not end at the borders of our nation or the limits of our uniforms. It extends into our communities, our families, and our hearts. May we always carry the spirit of service with us, honoring those who have served before us, standing in solidarity with those who have served today, and supporting one another as we navigate the path ahead. Thank you to the town of Rocky Hill for putting on this wonderful ceremony they do every single year, to our elected officials, our state officials here today. Thank you to our veterans. Thank you to our families. And thank you all so much. Happy Veterans Day.
Thank you, Craig Hall. Now we have a benediction by Pastor Ron Cox.
I would ask you to stand, please, and keep your eyes open. Look around us. We are so blessed to have you, our veterans, here today. I am blessed to walk shoulder to shoulder with veterans in the fire department. I am blessed to be protected where I live by veterans in the police department. If I'm in need of medical emergency, I am blessed to be cared for by a veteran serving as an EMT. Whether in a hospital, school, church, social club, the community center, or restaurant, I am blessed to be in the presence of a vast witnesses of men and women who silently and with dignity carry the title veteran. Every person present here today is the benefactor of someone they may never have met, but who stood tall and accepted the call to serve. To our veterans, we may not thank you enough, but we silently carry you in our hearts, thanking God every day for who you are, what you did, and how blessed we are to live in a country where those like you continue the tradition of serving in the armed forces, whose arms stretch around the world, and whose spirits uphold the truth that this nation will remain the land of the free only so long as it is the home of the brave. Thank you, veterans. I offer this prayer in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Ron. Appreciate that. And to all our veterans, once again, thank you for your service, sacrifice, and commitment to our nation. As we leave here today, as Craig Hall said, let's find a way to support our veterans. It can be as simple as taking time to listen to them. This concludes our ceremony. Please stay and enjoy Yellow 9, and thank you to Yellow 9 for the music today. Thank you.